Okay, Bismillah. Okay, folks, welcome back to my GCSE class. I'm joined here by my students. So we have simultaneous equations. This is part 1. Now, in order for us to do simultaneous equations, we need to look at the coefficients, and we need to make sure the coefficients are either equal or opposite. So we'll be looking in a moment what we mean by the coefficients, and the two simple rules are this. When the coefficients are equal, we minus the equations to eliminate one of the values x or y. If the coefficients are opposite, then we add the equations to eliminate one of the values. So let's have a look here. So here is an example of a simultaneous equation. Okay, we have the first one is 3x plus y equals 7. Second equation is 2x minus y equals 3. This is called a linear simultaneous equation because none of the powers are more than 1. So I'm labelling this equation number 1, equation number 2. Now, the coefficients are the multipliers in front of the x or y. Okay, so Zishan, if I'm looking in green over here, I've put a circle or sausage around these numbers here. These two numbers are called the coefficients of x. So the number in front of the x is the coefficient. The number from this x is coefficient. So here we have 3 and 2. Now, if we look at these two numbers here, 3 and 2, are they equal? No. Are they opposite? No. 3 and 2 are not opposite. Okay? So 3 and 2 are not opposite or equal. So now we have to consider the y coefficients. So let's have Ifra. We have no number here at all. We have plus y and minus y. Does that mean there's no coefficients at all? What does it mean?
It means that it's got a 1 in front.
That means it's got 1. Whenever you have no number in front of a letter, it automatically means one of that letter. So Umar, so the coefficient of y here is? Plus 1. And we have Mr. Saf, the coefficient of y here is? Minus 1. Thank you. So we have plus 1 and minus 1. Now let's consider those coefficients and see whether they match our table over here. So are the coefficients equal? Are they equal, folks?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they equal?
No.
No. Are they opposite?
Yes.
Yes. So we are going to select the y coefficient for elimination. So we have to make a decision in the question which one of the coefficients we are going to eliminate, and that's what we base it on this table over here by looking at the coefficients. Now, Ifra, now that we realize that these coefficients are opposite, what is the technique for getting rid of opposite coefficients? The technique for getting rid of opposite coefficients is to add the equations together. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to add these two equations. Right, now, Mr. Ramiz, 7 add 3 is? 10. Okay, Hamza, right, we have plus y, add a minus y gives us? 0 y. Okay, 0 y, do we need to write down 0 y?
Just y.
If you have 0 y, it's just actually just, I'll just write down here for the moment. We'll see what we do with that in a second. And we have 3x, add 2x, let's have Mr. Hamza. 3x add 2x is?
5x.
5x. Now, let's think about how we interpret this 0y. The whole intention, Mr. Saf, was to get rid of the y's. So, plus y and minus y gives you 0y. 0y is just basically nothing. Nothing. No y's at all. So the y has been eliminated. So to make things a bit more simpler, we write nothing here at all. Okay, there's no point writing plus 0. Just an extra element in there. So now the y's have been completely eliminated. They've gone. Okay. Now, 5x equals 10. Najma, 5x equals 10. We are in a much more happy situation because we only have one unknown, which is the x. How do I get rid of a multiply by 5, Najma? So I get the multiply by 5 from the left hand side, take it to the right hand side, becomes a divide by 5. Copy the x down, copy the equal. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So what we've done here so far, we have looked at the coefficients of x and y. We've decided to eliminate the y by adding. Yeah? So So if you add the two equations, it's given us y has gone. It's vanished. One would do everything. So only left with x. So we have 5 lots of x, that gives us 10. And then the opposite of time by 5 is divide by 5. So that's given us the value of one of our first things that we need to work out. So we need to work out x and y. We've just done x now. Now, Umar, what do we do with the x? Well, now that we know the x, what do we do with the x now? We need to put it back into
the equation.
One equation. So that's called substitution. So what we're going to do now, we're going to substitute x equals 2 into the first equation. So let's just write down the first equation again. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's do it here. This is the first equation. 3x plus y is equal to 7. Okay. So we get this 2 from here, to get the 2, and we put it into there. So we have 3 ifrad times by 2, add y is equal to 7. So, Mutaba, 3 times by 2 is equal to 6. 6 add y is equal to 7. Just by looking at this one, let's have Zishan, 6 add y is 7 now. How do we get y on its own? What do we do with the 6?
Minus 6.
That's right. That plus doesn't belong to the 6, by the way. The 6 has got its own plus. It's invisible. So opposite of plus 6 is minus 6. So y is equal to 1. So we have now the full solution, Umar. X is equal to 2 and y is equal to 1. So we have solved this simultaneous equation. This is call this equation type 1. So here the coefficients are already opposite or equal, and we don't need to do any other manipulation apart from add or minus. Please join us again in another video, okay, where we'll be looking at hopefully equal coefficients and how we deal with those. Thank you very much for joining us in this video. Please join us again. Thank you.